Greetings, Local 163 family. My name is John Carter. I'm co-chair of the Education Committee, and I'm also a part of our newsletter, award-winning newsletter committee. I want to welcome everyone to our broadcast, and when I say everyone, I mean Antolin, Continental, Detroit Axle, Detroit Diesel, JLL, Oakwood, Purim, and GM Romulus Propulsion Systems. Don't forget, August 15th, we're going to have our Family Day. It's going to be at Wired's Orchard in Ypsilanti. And before we get started, I had the opportunity to attend the Constitutional Convention a few weeks ago. And at this convention, we make nominations for international executive positions. So we get one president, 3 vice presidents, 1 secretary treasurer, 1 trustee. And before I introduce my guests, I want to extend the invitation to all executive board nominees that would like to address Local 163. If you would like to, just notify the hall and we'll make arrangements. So today I have with me one of our international executive nominees for vice president, Matt Slade. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the membership.
And I appreciate you coming on. So we'll just get right into it, if you don't mind. So let's just start with where you're from and your experience.
So where I was raised up in the Flint area. That's where I'm originally from. I didn't hire into General Motors until I was 30 years old in 2000. So I have a lot of outside experience. Drove truck over the road, a lot of different various jobs, doing construction, different things like that. But I hired into GM in 2000 at an SPO up in Swartz Creek. I moved down to Ypsilanti probably about 2003. We had a grievance about some outsourcing of the work, and we won that grievance, and that's how our facility came to be. So around 2005, they were working on closing our facility already. It was basically made to close.
Okay.
So our chairperson at the time decided that they were going to retire. So that left us with no chair. And I was just thrown right into the fire, right? It was who wants to be the chairperson, who's going to fight? And so I raised my hand. And I was elected in 2005. And we were successful. The facility is still there. We fought, we won. We beat back the company, which happens very rarely.
Very rarely.
Where General Motors is trying to outsource something and we beat them back. So I remained chairperson of that facility for over 3 terms and a partial term.
Okay.
So 2005 to 2018.
All right.
When 2018 came, we were coming into an election. And I was actually going to step down because, I feel that you hold a seat for so long. Part of my job is to prepare the next person for that job. So I was actually going to go back to the floor.
Okay.
And next thing you know, International was calling me. And they said, hey, do you want to come up and work for us? And I took that opportunity. So I've been on staff in the General Motors department ever since 2018 to present.
Okay. So you really got a view of both sides.
Absolutely.
Both sides.
Absolutely.
The
good, the bad, and the ugly, brother.
All right, so let's talk about a few points from your vision.
Absolutely.
I read some of your literature that says you have a vision. How do you plan to make sure the representatives are present and trained?
So first off, I feel that we need to do a lot better job of training our representatives. I feel, again, and it would take the board to make this happen, is that we should require mandatory classes. If you're elected into a bargaining position, just like we train our safety reps, we train our benefits reps, we do all of these things, but we really don't spend a lot of time in training for our local bargaining reps and committee people.
Now, some of our members, I know, would assume that that's happening.
Right, but it's not. You can take a class if you want through the region.
But to be mandatory,
right?
That's what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And and feedback, and not trying to bust on anybody that does training, but the feedback is it's not, when you get the training, it doesn't feel like real life when I'm actually trying to do something in the facility.
Yeah, it's kind of broad.
Yeah,
and just kind of point you in the right direction a little bit.
absolutely. So to me, how you negotiate something or bargain with an independent parts supplier is much different than how you're going to address General Motors, right?
Yeah, right.
So to me, the classes should be tailored and not just a generic class. They should be tailored to what you're actually doing.
Right, right.
The next piece of that, I want the reps out of solid house. So in other words, and don't get me wrong, I mean not like kicking them out, but I feel that our servicing reps should be out to the shops. They should be coming out. They should be taking time with the committee, taking time with the membership, listening to people and learning. And in doing so, I think people are used to, when a rep comes from Solidarity House, it's going to be a dictate, right? It's going to be, I'm telling you what to do.
Right.
And my thought process around that is we're going to pivot from being a group of people that tell you what to do. I mean, sometimes there's going to be some directions that we have to go down the road, right?
Yeah.
But by and large, I think we need to move more into a support type of role. I mean, how many times do you see General Motors management? And I'm going to speak to General Motors because that's what I know best.
Right.
But you see management, upper management in the facility, meeting with HR, doing all these meetings with their people.
Popping in.
Yep. And meanwhile, we're absent, right? I mean, you might get a phone call. I mean, you can call your rep, but it's different when we actually show up. It sends a different message.
And one of the sad things about interaction with our reps is usually when we're calling a rep is to complain about our shop committee or something that's not going our way.
Absolutely.
Whereas if they were already, circulating with the membership, they'd be right there in the middle of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another point you mentioned was a union where every facility mattered.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I'm just going to get to what we're hearing now, okay? What we hear now is pensions for all, right?
Right.
Retirement security for all, which I agree with the retirement security for all piece, but the problem I'm having is all of us that have been around know that they're talking to a select group. They're talking to what we call the big three, right? And I think that we need to do a better job of being honest. If you look on my page, I actually started conversations with some of my posts about this because I want people's feedback. And it's not just all about the big three. We have facilities out there that it just realistically, you're not going to get a pension from. You're just not. You'll shut them down. We have facilities out there with 10 people in them.
Right.
Right. And so I think that sometimes we fail to be thoughtful about those facilities, right? But on that note, I do think that we can do better for them. Like they have the 401ks, and they're usually a company match, So realistically, we need to move from that company match on 401ks, and it should be a straight contribution. We should not have any facility that their employer is not contributing to their retirement freely.
Right.
It's if you're making $25 an hour, how are you going to put anything into a 401k?
That's the struggle.
And and then we do a match on that, and you're only making $25. Come on, man, you're just trying to live.
Yeah, I've been kind of equating the whole 401k, prepare yourself for retirement, to like when you go to the grocery store now, you got to scan your own groceries.
Absolutely.
It's like corporate America is making us do more and more of the company's jobs.
Absolutely.
And now retirement is our job.
Yep. Absolutely.
And granted, we have to be responsible, but it's like the pension thing, when they came up with that device to put the burden on the worker.
Absolutely.
That's the big change I saw.
And really, a lot of it is just making them a part of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
We need to engage with the smaller facilities, and we need to respect their feedback. I mean, even in a GM system, we have locals that cannot afford to send their people to subcouncil because they're such a small local. We have facilities that have 45 people in them, and that local can't send their representative, the person that they elect to represent them,
Wow.
to do their job at our subcouncil. So we need to have some real conversations about this and what this means if we're going to have engagement from all of the smaller facilities and the IPS facilities. And I feel that we don't engage our membership enough to have the realistic conversations on that.
So there's definitely a gap.
Absolutely.
There's definitely a gap.
Absolutely.
And that kind of leads into another thing you mentioned about members discovering the power they already have.
Yes.
What do you plan to do to motivate that, to kind of put gasoline on that?
So first, I'm going to talk to General Motors because this is what I know best. Obviously, I got to learn, like anybody would, some of the other facilities. But number one, I think job one is taking out the roadblocks. We have to address things when we can address them to make it so the membership can participate, right? I'm a firm believer in membership action. I love membership action. I love the membership being able to show that they are together. And we have certain things that, quite frankly, that we've dropped the ball on, we've allowed to stifle that. And I'll give you one. I had a situation where the NLRB had a ruling that generally a lot of shop rules stifle concerted activity. And I wanted to fight that. I wanted to take that up. I wanted to push that button with General Motors because one of the things that I feel stifle concerted activity is there's zero tolerance, right? So we had that ruling, and I'll leave the politics of who is in office when these rulings come out of it for right now. But we had that ruling in our favor to where we could have said, look, this zero tolerance policy, along with the snitch line, the snitch line needs to go away. But we feel that these shop rules stifle a person's concerted activity. So, management will push you, John, and they'll push you and they'll push you and wait for you to blow up or wait for you to say something that they deem out of color.
And then you're out of here.
And then you're out of here. And you're not just out of here, you're discharged. And the people, the way they're using the snitch line is they have outside investigators that are calling you on the phone. So you're not getting your proper representation. They're violating your Weingarten rights on that front. We're allowing
it that way. I've never looked at that aware line like that.
Absolutely.
When you conversating with them without your union representation,
right,
you're waiving your Weingarten rights to it.
Absolutely, because it isn't the company's job to offer you representation. It's your job to ask for it. Yeah. And when someone's calling you on the phone and you know that there's something against you, you're kind of anxious, right? And you're probably not thinking.
You want to tell your side.
Absolutely. You want to protect yourself, and what you're doing is condemning yourself. And the other side of that, HR knows who calls. I mean, they say nobody knows, but it's just not true.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think that we start with taking the roadblocks away, making it so the companies can't come after our membership for their concerted activity.
Right.
Then we need to start engaging our membership. We need to start talking about actions and things and making plans on what we can do, right? I think the membership needs to come together. People get discharged wrongfully. The membership should be standing together, man. And all of these things that General Motors has been thoughtful on to play the long game and sever our relationship with our membership. And we need to get that back.
Right. And even some of their, some of the things they do is to try to motivate productivity. Some of those things can be viewed as union busting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From everything from referrals, stopping referrals. We used to get people from union households in there.
Yep.
They knew the union way. We knew what was expected of us. And, attendance was actually better. So that's one of the things I plan on going after is referrals.
Right.
Because people were coming from the shop life and their families, right? Mom and dad would kick your butt if you're not doing right.
Yep.
So GM, they got to own those pieces.
Yep. There's even a thing where they invite you to do a survey, things you might want and need. I can see eventually them saying, well, you don't need the union.
Right.
You just fill out the survey, and we've been doing what you need. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. They should not put a process into our facilities without us knowing. We should know every process that they're doing.
And that's another misconception, is that some of the members think the union buys off on everything. Or they can't do that unless they run it by the international or the chairman. Right. Or the president. That's the misconception a lot of our members have, is that everything that General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler may be doing in their facilities, the union knows about it.
Yeah, it's their favorite mantra, right? The union approved this. Yep. And sometimes we wouldn't even have a clue what they're doing.
Right.
Like the autonomous vehicles. We came in late on that. We didn't know autonomous vehicles were coming in. Next thing you know, we're getting calls. And they're telling our reps that they're approved. So opening those lines of communication, things like that are paramount.
Yeah.
And we need to hold General Motors accountable when they do that.
Yep. So we'll kind of reflect on the last election. So in 2022, the voter turnout was about 11%. That's active and retired members. Roughly out of 1 million ballots, are roughly 1 million members, only 104,776 were cast. Do you think we did a good job in notifying members that there was an election? Do you think something went wrong, if anything, or is it possible that we just don't care anymore?
So I think there's a couple things at play here. One, we know that the list and the mailing lists were not accurate. The monitor actually came back. So the monitor said if we didn't get our act together with the list, then they would not be able to certify this election, right? So that's how bad it was. Last election, it was a problem. Let's be realistic about it. We had some people getting 2 and 3 ballots. There was that piece. And I think that they're working to clear that up. I think that was part of the reason why they made the decision to define a retiree the way they have, because they had to clean that piece up. Otherwise, the monitor said, look, we're not going to certify. As far as the membership, I think we have a very intelligent membership. I think our membership knows it's important, but I think our membership is very disenfranchised. I think that we, and I say we because it's our union, all of us, but people in leadership have not done a good job keeping the promise of engagement, keeping the promise of, everybody gets told you're going to have a seat at the table.
Right.
Your opinion is going to matter. And I think that there's a large piece of our membership that don't feel that they matter. If you talk to the IPS sector, a lot of them don't even know an election's going on right now. They have no clue, because we target the big 3 because that's where the density's at. That's where the easy votes are at.
Right.
So, how come you don't hear about the IPS striking? Why don't you hear of a shop of 10 people striking? They're just as important as 5,000.
Right.
But nobody's on the web talking about it.
No.
So I think that there's a lot of people that, one, don't really know. They don't really pay attention to the mailings that they get. And 2, they feel so disenfranchised that they just they're not into it, They're like, what's it going to matter to me, because I haven't gotten anything out of it before.
Right.
You look on, I post on Facebook on our pages, members of the UAW, things like that. And I can post something to educate the membership. I've done this repeatedly. And I'll have maybe 5-6 people comment on it or look at it, give you the old thumbs up.
Right.
But post something about Donald Trump or Biden and you'll have 100 comments that people just want to argue with each other about. But when things that are literally here in front of you that's going to affect you, it feels like there's a lot of people that are not. They just want to breeze by it, and it's just weird to me. So
Yeah, it's a tough one because even we just had an election,
right.
and it's the same thing. You can walk through the plant, and somebody be like, well, "What's going on in the Pride Center? Or what's going on in the cafeteria? Oh, we're having an election. Oh, what's going on?" So if we can't get it together locally, we don't stand a chance getting it together internationally.
Right.
You know.
Well, and that goes back to lists, right? I don't think that we should be telling every chairperson, every president, look, we're coming into an election. Mm-hmm. The same as hiring from the outside. We've hired so many people from the outside now, it's crazy. We should be sending every facility a posting. Every facility that we represent, because our members are intelligent people. Some of them are educated to a very high degree and capable. So, why aren't we taking that time to communicate and push things out? We should. So, and that's one of the things, right? Yeah. We should push out that this election's coming and what everything is. It should be hung in the facilities on their bulletin boards.
And I have seen a big push locally with them telling everyone to update their
absolutely
their data, their addresses and things of that nature. So maybe this beginning of this year, I saw it start off. So they have been pushing to try to get accurate data from everybody. But yeah, that's just about all of the main points I wanted to hit. If you want to add anything, you're more than welcome.
No, I guess the biggest thing to me is our representatives that we put on staff. We need to treat them with respect. We need to, leadership. Membership's always going to have their issues. I understand that, but we need to engage them. We need to, how often I'm on staff, and I'll tell you, I don't get asked my opinion a whole lot, and when I do give my opinion, then, you're treated a certain way. And I think those are some of the changes that we need to make, right? Your elected leadership locally talk with the staff representatives. The staff representatives know what's happening in your facility, or they should. And it's my expectation that they would.
Right.
And so I should be having conversations with those staff reps, and we should be talking, collaborating, and figuring out the best route to go from feedback from the membership. So that's my biggest thing, is to engage the membership. I want to have, meetings, not really a meeting, it'd probably be recorded, but twice a year. I think the membership should hear from the department that represents them. Like if you're General Motors, there should be something generally for the membership, and say, look, this is what's going on in the department. This is health and safety, and it shouldn't be me talking about it.
Right.
It should be you seeing the representatives and filling you in on what's going on in the department in their piece, and getting to know the representatives and the people that actually represent you.
Right.
I don't need all the BS and the credit. You guys should know your reps, period. So that's some of the big things that I plan on doing.
Yeah.
Open up communication, let feedback come back, and start the discussions.
And I kind of think back to like when we do the new member orientation, one of the biggest questions to the members are the new hires. Who is the highest authority in the UAW?
Right.
A lot of people say the president, the chairman, but it's the members.
Absolutely.
And so it sounds like you really want to get back to that and really make that the true foundation of the union, members first.
Yeah, we got to stop saying it and we got to do it.
Right, right.
If we're going to eat at the table, we need to bring them to the table to eat with us.
I agree. Well, appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us,
brother.
Matt.
I appreciate you.
And appreciate everybody for tuning in. And again, Matt Slade, one of our nominees for vice president. Again, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Subscribe, like, and see you next time when we talk.
Can I add one more thing?
Oh,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Everybody pay attention to your Solidarity magazine. So if you're a member, you should be getting a copy of Solidarity magazine. I don't know if it's going to be mailed or if it's going to be digital, but every person running, I encourage everyone to look at every candidate running Make your decision. Look at their experience. Look at what they want to do, and make your decision from that. Saudi Arabia Magazine is going to have a connection for you to do that coming up in this month's thing. So
Okay.
definitely
That's good.
educate yourselves.
That's good. All right. Thank you.